We've heard a lot of talk about Muslims in the news over the past few months. A quick Google News search this afternoon came up with the following top hits. A piece entitled, "Why Are Muslims Faking Anti-Muslim Hate Crimes?" A story about Wheaton College, the one in Illinois, not here, moving to fire the professor who said Muslims and Christians worship the same God. And one about the UK's parliament debating banning Donald Trump from the country in response to his call for a ban on Muslims entering the US. And that one's real, by the way, and they're streaming the debate live on January 18th. But the point here is, when we talk about the Muslim community in the media, it generally involves things like hate speech and hate crimes and terrorism, and that's exactly what my next guest has set out to change. Mona Haydar set up a stand, Ask a Muslim, outside a library in Cambridge, offering free coffee and donuts, answers, and conversation. Mona joins me now. Thanks so much. Nice to see you. How did this thing get started? What was the inspiration for this?
So my husband saw this piece on NPR called Ask an Iraqi, and he was like, why didn't we think of that? And so we did it.
And so how did you do? I mean, what exactly did you do?
So he found these recycled doors in the neighbor's construction dumpster, and he was like, can I have these? And they were like, sure. Didn't know what he was going to do with them. Painted them up, and we took them out there, strapped them to our little Subaru, and there we were in front of the Cambridge Library.
Were you nervous about what kind of reaction? I mean, I read that for the very little hostility. I'll ask you about that. And so were you nervous about what the kind of reaction, what kind of questions you were going to get?
At first, I really was, and to be honest, it was because of things that friends of mine had experienced.
Like what?
Just hostility and
Muslim friends.
Yeah, hostility and remarks. You know, go back to your own country and things like that, or go back to where you came from. And they're always like, "Where? My mother's womb." You know, so it's just like funny. But you know, those experiences had affected me, and I was in kind of a sad place. And then my husband and I were talking. We're like,
he's a convert to Islam. Yes.
Yeah, and so he was like, if we're gonna do this, we need to be positive about it. And I agree. You know, we're both really positive people. And so he was like, we just got to do it and be happy to do it and talk to people.
What are the biggest misconceptions you encounter in your life about Islam, about Muslims? What are they?
That we're all the same, that all Muslims represent one ideology or one political group. And that's totally a farce. You know, like my sister grew up listening to punk rock, and I'm over here and I like neo soul. Like, figure that one out, you know? So our tastes vary in music just as much as they vary on the religious spectrum.
What kind of hostility? There was some hostility, was there not, in your Cambridge library?
We had some intense questions.
Like what? Give me one.
So one woman was pretty disenchanted with religion as a whole, and she clearly had some baggage around it and wanted to talk about it. And so she was just like...
But it was not directed at Islam as such.
It was. Islam as a religion. She saw it as like hate-filled, and you know, she'd read all the rhetoric. She knew what was up.
You know, even though I didn't bring a sign, you know what I did, in your honor? I brought a dozen donuts. So I know, man, that's how you do it. Don't you do it with donuts? And isn't that the whole deal?
That's what we do. That's exactly what we do.
So first of all, have a donut. I'm sorry to hold it, but okay, I'll take one too. And let's,
cheers.
You know, I went on the internet, and cheers to you too. I went on the internet, and I'm serious, and looked at some of the, here's a kind of question that, is it true a husband can divorce a wife just by declaring it? So let's assume I came up to the booth and said that to you.
Yeah.
You offered me a donut, thank you. So is it true, Mona, that a husband can divorce a wife just by declaring it in Islam? Is that true?
Sure, but mostly a wife can do that too.
In Islam?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a religious scholar.
Yeah.
And I tell people that, you know, like
it's part of the donut. Go ahead.
Thank you.
And?
But I'm not a religious scholar, and I'm very frank with people about that. I'm just out here like a Muslim living my life. And if I need a religious ruling in my life, I go to somebody who knows what's up. You know, I don't just like fiddle fart around.
So you say that to people. So you know, the other thing that I hear all the time, particularly on right-wing radio shows, which I troll from time to time, is they're going to bring Sharia law to this country, and it's going to take over in our communities. What do you say? Okay, I'm going to say it to you. I'm worried that Sharia law is going to come to America and take hold in my community. Well,
I would really encourage anybody who feels that way to research Sharia law. Sharia law is this huge, vast thing that you know, encompasses so much stuff. Like a cow is not supposed to eat corn because corn gives a cow indigestion. That's part of Sharia law. You know, so it's like silly things, and like it's so vast and broad, and it's all like, you know, through the ages it's been set down for us. So it's also based in a certain time in history, and a modern scholar can look at that and say, well, that's not what's up right now.
So where do people find Ask a Muslim next? Are you going to be out in the world again?
We're not sure.
What do you mean you're not sure? Why wouldn't you be?
We definitely want to do it more. And again, we have a 2-year-old baby. I'm applying to graduate school, so it's kind of rough right now.
But we may see you yet again.
Definitely, I hope so.
Hope so. Here's to you.
Cheers.
Nice to see you,
Thanks.
Mona. Thanks so much.